Great evening for you. Great evening for you. Let me pull my notes down here. Wonderful evening for you. Thank you for being with us tonight. And tonight I want to start off by let's change the questions that we ask when it comes to health and longevity. Let's change that because I think we've been asking the wrong questions. The common question that people ask is why do people get sick? And I think we need to stop asking that question. So instead of asking, why do people get sick? Let's ask the question, why do some people rock? Why do some people thrive despite everything that life throws at them? The question shouldn't be, why do some people get sick? The question should be, why do some people actually get better? Why do some people thrive with everything that life and the world brings at them? Think about that question just for a second. It's not a matter we say, okay, because one question supposes already that we're going to get sick and fail. The other one supposes that we're going to be better and thrive. Dramatically different sets in mind frame alone. In mind frame alone, just taking that one question versus that question. Again, we ask a different question. We ask a better question. We don't ask anymore, how come some people get sick? We ask, why do those people over there not get sick? And then we try to emulate them, copy them as much as possible. If you were going to have a business and say you're going to go in a chiropractic business, I've been around for 33 years. I've done well. Wouldn't you want to come pick my brain? Just see can I ask you a question here? How did you stay in practice for that long? Did anything in your life ever come up in practice that set you back? Yes, I tell this often about there are twice in the 33 years I've been in practice where, quite frankly, I could have walked away and said, that was it. Honestly. But why am I still here? Why am I still doing webinars? Why am I speaking internationally, writing my next book, having my next article published? Why am I still doing that? I got stuff to do. Why do some people fade away while some people keep on moving towards the mountaintop? Why is that? We ask the question again. We stop asking this question. We stop asking the question, why do some people get sick? Instead, we start asking the question, why do some people not get sick? Why do some people just absolutely rock through life? No matter what the world and life brings at them, they still keep on going. And then we copy them. We emulate them. And we do those things that they do. If you're going to ask me, hey, how did you stay in practice for 33 years? How'd you make it through COVID? How'd you do this? Then you take down the notes and say, I'm going to do what he did. One of the simplest ways this is well known in business. One of the simplest ways for you to be successful is to copy someone who's been successful. Don't invent the wheel. Find someone who's already got a wheel. Dramatically different when we start looking at that. Here's the other thing, is that when we start adding in our health, when we start asking the questions of our health, we need to start getting down to the very, very basis, the basic fundamentals of you. I'm a firm believer that you should be eating as well as possible. I'm a firm believer that you should, and when you eat, you don't eat a lot. You eat just rocket fuel. If you wanted to get to the moon, you wouldn't put just sugar water in the tank. You'd make it just the best fuel possible to get us there. Same thing with your body. Rocket fuel for your body. You're going to have daily Daily motion, but the motion is going to be interactive and it's going to be changing. We're going to change up what you do dramatically. Not every day, but you're going to go through patterns of you're not going to go on the treadmill for 30 minutes, 3 times a week and call that your exercise program. We're not going to do that. Nope. 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 We need a variability in our movement. We need variability in our movement. That means the exercises you're going to do are going to change. You're going to phase in this stuff, phase out that. Phase in this stuff, phase out that. Work in here, do this. You may be someone who loves swimming, but you're also going to run, you're going to bike, you're going to lift weights. Movement variability. Not only does your body get better, but your brain stays healthier for longer. Absolutely. So I recommend you eat well. I recommend that you have movement variability, that you get the great sleep that you're supposed to. You get the great sleep that actually helps you to repair, heal, and adapt better. It's a biological reset. We use sleep now as a biological reset. It's not just something that you do at nighttime just to get from nighttime to daytime. No, it's a biological reset. Use sleep as a biological reset. You need to take your sleep much more seriously. We look at metabolic flexibility, fuel efficiency, eat the whole foods, decrease foods that aren't foods that aren't real. You know how much toxic stuff is in foods that we see on the market every single day? It is astounding the amount of toxic foods that we have all around us. They're convenient, they're inexpensive, and therefore we eat them. Metabolic dysfunction is a root of just an amazing amount of chronic diseases that Americans have. Other countries don't. Why? Because they don't eat like an Americans. You've heard me say this before. You want to live like an American, then you're going to have to die like an American too. If you want to live like an American, you're going to have to die like an American too. And that ain't always pretty. Nope. You find purpose and meaning in your life. But one of the most absolutely fundamental things that we have is that we start looking at the nervous system as the master controller. Your nervous system as the master controller. Your health is an ability to adapt to stress. Your key, one of your fundamental keys for you to be around for more better years is not to avoid stress, is to adapt to it. Those who adapt win. Those who adapt survive. Those who don't, do not. I'm not saying bring on more and more stresses into your life, but learn how better your nervous system to adapt to them. If you knew it's going to be storming out, what would you do? Well, you might get a big umbrella. You might get a better poncho. You might get shoes that are waterproof, pants that are waterproof. Okay, you do those things for that. It makes total sense for that. If it's going to be really raining, I'm going to have a big umbrella, one of those super strong ones that the golfers use. They make the best umbrellas. So if that's going to be happening, and we know we should do it for that, why don't we do it for your nervous system? Learn that the nervous system should be the master controller, that all those other things are inputs of information. Your exercise is input of information. Your food is input of information. Sleep is an ability for input of information. The way you talk with people, interact with them, are inputs of information. You take all those inputs and you put them into that mainframe computer, which is you. You need to make sure your nervous system is absolutely optimized. Optimized. And you measure it with heart rate variability. Heart rate variability. It's one of the simplest ways. The testing now is so much better than it was 10, 20 years ago. You measure your heart rate variability. Because when we start asking these questions, I want to start looking upstream instead of downstream. I don't want to look at what happened. That's what our healthcare system is. Our healthcare system is looking at what happened. I want to look at what's coming up. How can I start predicting? How can I start stacking the deck for my future health? Our healthcare system now is based upon this and what's in the past, not now and what can I do for the future. We look at either downstream or upstream. I want to start looking upstream and start predicting my health for decades to come. Yes, I know. Yeah, I know. Stuff happens in life. But what if it didn't? Most of our healthcare now is built upon managing breakdown. Most of our healthcare now is based upon you breaking down. When are you going to start finding an architect to help build you so well that you minimize how that works? So you minimize the effects of stresses on you. Our healthcare now is based upon you breaking down. When are you going to start finding an architect for your health? So you minimize how the effects of stress. We don't even talk about that. We don't even talk about that. We don't even talk about that. So we look at again, my three favorite words are effective, cost-effective, and reasonable when it comes to your health. What's effective, cost-effective, and reasonable when it comes to your health? How can we do that? What can we do on a daily basis? Simple things. Effective, cost-effective, and reasonable. Get your nervous system tested with heart rate variability. Then when you add in those other things, here's a question for you. Here's a question. Why is it one person can eat this healthy way and they get dramatically great benefits from it? This person eats the same healthy way and they don't. Because no one takes a look at their nervous system to find out, is the nervous system stressed or is it relaxed? Is it able to adapt or is it not? We're missing some very, very fundamental things. By the way, as soon as pharmacology learns how to, as soon as pharmacology finds out how to moderate your nervous system using heart rate variability, you're all going to be on medications. You're all going to be medicated. There's going to be absolutely no benefit to you whatsoever because the side effects of the medications. We can do this naturally. We're supposed to do this naturally. We're supposed to. It's easier than we think. It's always easier than we think. Health is built upon creating an adaptive capacity, your body's ability to perceive, respond, and recover from stress. Don't avoid stress. Learn how to adapt to it. It's going to rain tomorrow. It's going to rain. I'm bringing a rain jacket. We do it many, many times. We just don't look at it we don't look at it in our health nearly enough. And again, all those other things are inputs: the sleep, the food, the motion, the responses with people, the interactions with people. Those are all inputs into the nervous system. Get your nervous system optimized. Therefore, those things work better for you, in you. Start there. We start there, man, we build a foundation that's absolutely nonstop. Nonstop. Absolutely nonstop. How do I know? We've seen it happen. Any kind of questions? I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for being on.